finally speaks from jail on why he stayed silent after Nipsey's death, saying that speaking out back then would have made things worse. Right before he turned himself in, Big U dropped a video denying the charges. He said, "You just guilty because somebody else don't like you," like he was already bracing for judgment before the trial even started. His exact words were,
"You just guilty because somebody else don't like you and they can go on the internet and do what they want to and y'all gonna promote it."
Since then, his social posts have leaned deep into survival and solitude, about watching who's really solid and who folds under pressure. And the people around him have been saying he feels let down, like the people he once protected turned into ghosts, like loyalty doesn't go both ways anymore. Maybe that's why Big U will be representing himself in his RICO case, and he won't have an experienced lawyer behind him. All those connections and street cred, yet nobody wants to pay for a lawyer. Tony Yayo and others in the game think it's saying a lot. Tony Yayo said this on his recent Vlad TV.
I mean, with all the friends that Big U got, nobody's helping him with his lawyer. See, that's when I say the industry is up.
But he still won't drop names and point fingers. So what's really going on? Is Big U protecting someone, protecting himself, or just tired of carrying the weight alone? 'Cause here's the twist. While Nipsey's name echoes through LA like a victory anthem, Big U's legacy sits in limbo. Nip built a movement, and Big U built a foundation. But did one vision cost the other his future? Big U wasn't just some dude in the background of Nipsey's come-up. He was the guy. Big U was the one who laid the first bricks for Nip to go from Crenshaw to the global stage. You couldn't talk about Nip's early grind without running into Big U's name. Before the world knew Nipsey, Big U had already stamped himself in LA history. Raised in the trenches of Arlington and Slauson, he earned his stripes in the Rollin 60s, not just as a member, but as a leader. Folks in the streets said you didn't make a move in that part of LA without Big U knowing. And when he shifted gears from the streets to the studio, that same influence followed. He used it to open doors. Nip got signed to a 10-year deal under Big U back in 2009. That was Nip's first real shot at the music industry, and Big U was the one holding the keys. But even with all that respect and history between them, things got messy. As Nipsey's star started rising, he wanted more control, but that didn't always line up with how Big U moved. The contract had Nip locked down, and word on the street was, behind the scenes, it caused friction. And it wasn't just business, it got personal. Creative differences started to pop up. Nipsey was about expanding, building brands, investing in tech, giving back to the hood. On the other hand, Big U had his own way of doing things. In a city like LA, that can only mean trouble. When two big forces like that clash, street politics kick in. Some even said they got into physical altercations before making peace again. By 2018, things had hit a boiling point. But somehow, right before Nip passed, they had reportedly made amends. Big U was even on tour with him again for the Victory Lap rollout. But here's the thing. After Nip got gunned down, Big U went dead silent. Right after Nipsey's death, Big U disappeared. For a man who used to own the mic when it came to LA street and music culture, that kind of quiet is unheard of. But the timing is funny too. Feds were already circling LA's gang infrastructure, and losing Nip cracked everything wide open. In that kind of environment, saying the wrong thing could ruin you. That's when people started wondering if Big U was playing chess, not checkers. The theory goes that he was laying low to avoid federal heat. Law enforcement was already sniffing around his name, and one wrong move could have dragged him deeper into the crosshairs. But here's where it gets even more layered. Silence in the streets ain't always about the cops. Sometimes it's about watching the people around you. When Big U fell back, former allies started switching up. Folks like Whack 100 and other familiar names in LA's hip-hop scene began distancing themselves. In a world where public loyalty is everything, Big U going ghost while others fell silent or flipped looked sus. The lack of anyone publicly riding for him made the silence feel less like grief and more like guilt. But there's another angle: self-preservation. In street politics, when feds are watching and bodies are dropping, silence is a weapon. Speaking out could have sparked retaliation. But to someone like Big U, that silence might have been the only move left. Before everything crumbled, Big U was winning. He was flipping that legacy into business, brand partnerships, and citywide influence. He had a $3 million Adidas deal lined up, and city leaders rocked with him. The man had finally crossed over, respected in boardrooms just as much as he was feared in the trenches. But when Nip died, that whole empire started collapsing. The Adidas deal was quietly scrapped, and the shift in community followed. All that respect he had built turned cold. People who once rode for him started distancing themselves. Some went silent, others publicly questioned him. The same neighborhoods that used to celebrate his work started looking at him sideways. And it wasn't just the streets. The feds came knocking too. Once Nipsey hit the national radar, law enforcement doubled back on everything. RICO investigations started heating up. Big U's name kept popping up in connection to organized crime, extortion, and worse. Right now, Big U is facing some of the heaviest charges in the game. RICO, extortion, human. The feds are painting him like a boss in a full-blown criminal empire, calling it mafia-like. And they're saying he didn't just run the streets, he ran nonprofits, entertainment ventures, and city contracts as fronts. That silence after Nip's death looks a whole lot deeper than just grief or caution, because the feds are treating this like a network. And when you're seen as the architect, every word you say could bring the whole thing crashing down. Now here's where it gets even messier. Eric Holder was convicted for Nip's murder. That part is public, official, confirmed. But despite that, the feds never took their eyes off Big U. Why? Because it was never just about the trigger man. It was about everything around it, the influence, the power structure, the possible retaliation moves, and most importantly, the money. Big U was close to Nipsey, too close for the feds to ignore. His silence, combined with his influence, keeps them watching. They think he might have seen something, heard something, maybe even tried to move behind the scenes. Some people say Big U tried to warn Nip. Others say he warned somebody else. No receipts, no charges, just rumors that won't die, fueled by silence and magnified by social media. And when no one's talking, speculation turns into truth for people who already want to believe the worst. Still, no public evidence links Big U to Nipsey's directly, but the court of public opinion, they don't wait for evidence. And when the feds are on your neck and your community starts pulling away, the silence starts sounding like a confession. That's what makes this so dangerous, because sometimes it ain't what you say, it's what you don't. And now from jail, he's hinting that speaking would have brought heat not just on him, but the whole city.